Hey everybody, Jerome Light here, Director of Student Ministries at Cal Prairie Community Church in Lenexa, Kansas. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. The weather has been truly beautiful this week. It's been a little cooler, which has been awesome. I definitely took some time, went home, hammock up out back, got some time to rest. It was really good and just relax in my hammock and lay there. Yeah, it was a good week. So let's jump in. As you know, we've been going through a series called Origin Story, a story about heroes and how me and you can be heroes every day. Ordinary people can be heroes. It doesn't take a superpower to do that. The first week we looked at how heroes embrace who God made them to be. They take who they are and they use it to do good. They don't. Not everybody has a superpower, and that's just a fact of it. But everyone has an opportunity to be a hero in some way by using what God gave you. The second week, we talked about how you can care for people in front of you. We talked about how the big fights, with superheroes, they happen and they go and they fight and they beat the big boss villain. But if there was nobody to protect, would they even fight the villain? Or even the opposite? Would the villain even attack? Would there be a reason for a hero? No, those superheroes fight and protect and do what they do because they care about the people in front of them. Just like me and you can do. We have an opportunity to care about those who are in front of us, to help those around us, to show those heroic traits just by being there for people who are there. And last week, we talked about how heroes are better when they work together as a team. We think of teams like the Justice League and the Avengers, and how there's sometimes villains that alone they can't beat, but when they come together, they make such a powerful team that nobody can stop them. They fight and they win. That's one thing there. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome. Same goes for me and you. Sometimes there's things we can't do when we're alone, but when we ask for help and when we team up with others, we can do great things. Like when we worked at MLM the other week, last weekend or 2 weekends ago. It was one of those opportunities where we could come together, where we could serve, and we worked together with MLM as Cal Prairie and MLM, and we worked together to help a goal, to help those people, to hand out produce. That's an example of people being heroic by doing a small thing to help the people around them and working as a team. Now this week, we're going to look about how being a hero isn't only the big moments. It's being a hero in our everyday, ordinary life. The things we do on the daily. Not the big things we do to step out to help somebody, but the little things. The ordinary things. One of those things that I can think of is just forgiving someone. It's an ordinary, everyday thing that I think we all have to do daily. We have to forgive someone because somewhere out there's someone who frustrates us, someone who hurts us. But there's a moment more I want you to even think about. Think about a moment you had a fight with a close friend. How'd that feel? It hurt, didn't it? It was rough. It was a time that it was difficult because that was somebody you truly cared about. It was harder to reconcile with them. And when you did, it took a lot more work to do. Now here's the thing. As I said before, when we think about being a hero, we think about the big moments. We think about how we can do these big things, whether it's save somebody's life or something like that. But it's those little things too. Being willing to step out and do something uncomfortable, being willing to step out and forgive someone. Now, I bring up these moments of having to forgive someone you care about because a lot of times you get in fights with those people more often because you're around them more often. And here's the thing. Sometimes when you start to get in those arguments and those fights, you start to build fences. Build walls in between you because you don't want to be hurt again, because you care about these people, because they're pretty amazing and tremendous to you, but they hurt you. But the heroic thing to do in this situation, the ordinary heroic thing to do in this situation, is jump that fence. go and forgive and heal. Sit down, have a conversation. Figure out what you did wrong. Figure out what they did wrong. I think a situation I think about is if you've seen the movie Thor Ragnarok with Thor and Hulk. They're in the arena and they fight and they have this battle. And Thor sees Hulk and he screams with this joke and he says, "A friend from work," but then Hulk still attacks because Hulk does recognize Thor, but he's mad at him. He's angry. He's hurt by him. So they fight and it ends up being a draw. But then they come back later and they sit down together and they have a conversation. And they talk about how they hurt each other and they forgive each other. They build a reconciliation and they make it so they can both escape this planet together as a team. They can work together and they become friends. Because heroes do the small things, the little things, the ordinary things to help them grow and get better and do more with their lives in this situation. Because in all honesty, it's easy to fight the supervillain because it's the wise thing to do. But sometimes when you fight the supervillain, you forget about the ordinary heroic things you need to do. Or even the opposite, while you're fighting them, if you're not heroic in the everyday ordinary situations, then you come back and it affects you when you fight that supervillain. You can't be at full strength because your mind is elsewhere. So just know, being a hero, you also do the ordinary things. In fact, I would say doing the ordinary things as a hero is more important. So don't forget, you can be a hero, I can be a hero, and everyone else, you can be a hero. It's simple. Care for those around you. Embrace who God made you to be. Work as a team with others. Don't be afraid to do that. It makes you stronger. And lastly, be a hero in the everyday, ordinary life that we live. Because that's what matters. Below, I hope you see the scripture and the questions. The scripture is plenty of proof, biblically backing this up, different ideas and different thoughts on it, of how we can come in and we can just be like, hey, guess what? Here's what my Bible says about being a hero and forgiving and doing things in the ordinary way. A lot of great verses. I hope you check them out. I hope you get together with somebody and answer these questions and at least discuss them as well. I hope you have an amazing week. Thanks for joining.